under my videos, I frequently get asked whether what I'm wearing on my left index finger is an Oura Ring, and if so, whether I like it and would recommend it. I know quite a few of you are looking into purchasing a fitness tracker to help you along your health and fitness journey. So in today's video, I am going to give you my very honest, in-depth review of the Oura Ring. Yes, this is an Oura Ring. This video is not sponsored. In fact, if you have been here for a little while, you know I don't do sponsored videos. But I also have zero affiliation with Oura. They don't even know I exist. My husband gave me this ring as an anniversary present, and we are paying for the membership with our own money. Now, first off, I have the Generation 3 Oura Ring. They just recently came out with a Generation 4, which had a few upgrades. Personally, I have not tried the Generation 4, but to my understanding, the changes to the ring is that it is now a tad lighter and thinner. The sensors which stick out on the Generation 3 Oura are now recessed, which is supposed to, first of all, make the ring a bit more comfortable, and secondly, improve sensor performance. Though I have heard people compare the two, saying they really don't notice a difference as far as comfort or performance. Lastly, the Generation 4 now has a battery life of up to 8 days, versus the Generation 3 has a battery life of up to 7 days. And the Generation 4 uses a different charger than the Generation 3. There is quite a price difference between the Generation 4 and 3, with the Generation 4 starting at around $349 versus the Generation 3 starting at around $199. Now both Gen 4 and Gen 3 do come in different finishes, and the ultimate retail price does depend on the finish you choose. Aside from these changes I just mentioned, both Generation 4 and Generation 3 operate exactly the same, providing you with the exact same health and fitness data. Now really briefly, just in case you're not familiar with a fitness tracker. A fitness tracker is a wearable electronic device which is often worn around the wrist or finger that uses sensors to monitor and record various health and fitness data, such as step count, calories burned, resting heart rate, and sleep quality. And since these trackers provide real-time data, it helps users to stay aware of their activity level and can help them to set health and fitness goals and stay motivated. There are now so many different fitness trackers available on the market, with the Oura Ring being one of many. Personally, I have tried several different fitness trackers. Years ago, I started with a Fitbit, then graduated to an Apple Watch. Currently, I'm wearing a Garmin, and of course, my Oura Ring. Now, out of the fitness trackers I have tried, the Oura Ring is my favorite, and I believe it to be the most accurate out of the trackers I have tried. But like I said, there are so many different fitness trackers available now. If you have a favorite one, please share down below. Now, while the Oura Ring is my favorite fitness tracker out of the ones I have tried, it definitely has some pros and cons. Let's first of all talk about fit. Of course, the Oura Ring is worn on a finger, and it is recommended to either wear it on your index or middle finger for highest accuracy. When you order an Oura Ring, you have the option to order a sizing kit, which I think is a great idea. Without the sizing kit, I for sure would have ordered the wrong size. Now, again, it is recommended to wear the Oura Ring on either your index or middle finger for highest accuracy, and of course you want to have a snug fit. Ideally, I wanted to wear my Oura Ring on my right hand, ideally on my right middle finger. However, Oura only offers 4 sizes, so the only finger I could make the ring fit was my left index finger. I do think that the Oura Ring clashes a bit with my wedding and engagement ring on my left hand, but again, it was the only finger I could actually get a somewhat snug fit. So one thing I wish Oura would do is offer half sizes, so there is a bit more flexibility as far as where to place the ring. Now, as you can see, the Oura Ring is a bit clunky. Again, the Generation 4 is said to be a tad bit thinner and lighter, but it is by no means thin. It is still quite clunky. And at first, it did take a bit getting used to. First of all, wearing a ring on my index finger, which I wasn't used to, and then wearing something rather clunky on my index finger. But honestly, at this point, I don't notice it at all. I wear this ring all day long. The only time I take it off is when I shower or wash my face. And usually when I shower is when I charge it. It charges super fast. And the battery life on the Generation 3 is up to 7 days. I have tested that before because I have traveled without my charger, and indeed, the battery lasted for about 7 days. So while wearing the Oura Ring on my left index finger, it wasn't my first choice. And while it did take a bit getting used to, again, first of all, wearing a ring on my index finger, and then wearing a somewhat clunky ring on my index finger, I, at this point, don't even notice that I'm wearing it. I wear it non-stop. Again, I only take it off when I shower, at which point I charge it. I lift weights with this. Now, I have to say, when I lift weights, even before I won Oura Ring, I wear gloves because I get horrible calluses. So I wear gloves, which first of all helps to protect the ring from getting scratched, and it also makes it more comfortable lifting weights wearing this ring. I have tried before to lift weights without wearing gloves when wearing this, and it definitely felt awkward, and I ended up taking the ring off. So if you're somebody who likes to wear a fitness tracker on one of your fingers and you feel it interferes with your weightlifting sessions, yet you would like to track your weightlifting sessions, maybe try wearing gloves. It really helps me. But aside from the fit, let's look at the different features the ring has to offer. Now, to be able to access any of the data, the ring needs to be synced to an app on a smartphone. The app, in my opinion, is very easy to use and pretty self-explanatory. Now, when Oura first came out, there was no membership fee. Currently, there is a membership fee of either $5.99 per month or $69 per year. So I'm currently paying a membership fee of $69 per year, which is not cheap, but I know that some other fitness trackers, like Whoop, for example, which I have never tried. If you have, please share your experience with it down below. I'm super curious about Whoop, but I know that Whoop, for example, charges a whooping $199 per year. So $69 per year, not cheap, but better than $199. And I'm assuming these $69 per year pay for not just the data displayed, but also regular upgrades and improvements to the app. Now, the main reason I personally wanted to have an Oura Ring is for its comprehensive sleep tracking feature. I've talked about this quite a bit on this channel before. I have never been the greatest sleeper, and I have tried just about anything to improve my sleep. And I wanted to have some feedback, some visible feedback, showing me what lifestyle choices, what foods, what supplements positively or negatively affect my sleep. The Oura Ring is considered the most accurate consumer sleep tracker, particularly for monitoring deep sleep and overall sleep stages, with a 2023 study showing it achieved high accuracy compared to a hospital sleep study. So the ring tracks total sleep duration, sleep onset, different stages of sleep, such as REM, deep and light sleep, as well as awakenings. From this data, it then calculates an overall sleep score. Anything about 80 is good, with 100, of course, being the best. Unfortunately, personally, I have never achieved a sleep score of 100. I think the highest sleep score I have personally achieved was 94, and that for me is amazing. Usually I'm somewhere around the mid-80s. I do feel that the ring quite accurately keeps track of the different sleep stages, such as again REM, deep and light sleep. Where I do feel accuracy is lacking a bit is when it comes to sleep latency. So I am somebody who usually goes to bed around 9 o'clock. And then I like to read for about half an hour or so until I get tired. Now my ring thinks because I'm laying in bed, I am trying to fall asleep. So it measures the time from me laying down to putting away my Kindle as me trying to fall asleep. And it usually gives me a bad sleep latency score, saying you were awake for 45 minutes, when really I usually put my book down and I'm out within a couple of minutes. So I do feel the ring is quite accurate when it comes to keeping track of the different sleep stages, but lacks accuracy, at least for me, when it comes to sleep latency. Aside from keeping track of the different sleep stages, and again, sleep latency and awakenings, the ring also tracks resting heart rate while sleeping, as well as average and max HRV. Now, if you decide to take a nap during the day and you lay down for anything more than 15 minutes, the ring will also keep track of your nap, giving you again the same sleep data, and it will then take your nap data, add it to your last night's sleep data, which may or may not affect your sleep score. So personally, like I said, I wanted to have an Oura Ring because of its comprehensive sleep tracking feature. And I do find it quite helpful as far as determining what, again, lifestyle choices, supplements, and so on affect my sleep positively or negatively. Now, while I do find the sleep tracking feature quite helpful, and while I find it to be quite accurate, I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with it. There are some mornings where I will wake up thinking, wow, I slept really well. And I will open up my app, which by the way takes just a couple of minutes for the data to display. So I will open up my app and it will show me a horrible sleep score telling me that I barely had any deep sleep, was up who knows how many times, and of course that messes with my head. So while I was just feeling good and rested, suddenly I feel tired. Now the other way around is true as well. There are some nights where I wake up thinking, oh, I really didn't sleep well. And again, I open my app and I have a sleep score of 85 or 90, and suddenly I feel a lot more energized. So somebody like myself, who is quite suggestive to data like this, has to be a bit careful. And I do, while I'm very appreciative of the data I get from wearing my ring, I do have to take it with a grain of salt. And I do also have to check in with my body and see, how do I really feel, aside from what the app is telling me. Now, aside from the sleep score, the ring or the app also gives you an overall readiness score. This overall readiness score takes into consideration resting heart rate, HRV balance, body temperature, which we will talk about in a second, recovery index, sleep balance, and sleep regularity, previous day activity, and activity balance. So quite a few different things are calculated into the overall readiness score. And again, a score of 85 or above is desirable, while according to Oura, a score below 70 suggests the body needs more rest and recovery. Now, while I do find it quite helpful to have this overall readiness score, especially since for its calculation, it does look at so many different things. Just like the overall sleep score, it doesn't always correlate with the way my body is actually feeling. But regardless, in my opinion, it is still very valuable and interesting information to have and to look at. Now, I just mentioned the temperature feature. This is a feature I am fascinated by. It tracks nightly skin temperature variations to establish a personal baseline and to detect changes related to illness, stress, and if you're a menstruating female, keep track of the menstrual cycle, which is what I partially use it for. But the app also has a tab called Symptom Radar, which takes several different biometrics into consideration, body temperature being one of them. So let's say one morning you wake up and your body temperature is slightly elevated, and with that, your resting heart rate. The symptom radar will notify you that your body is showing minor signs of stress. Now, there have been a couple of times where I was fighting off an illness, and the symptom reader was warning me that my body was showing major signs of stress. And for somebody like myself who has a tendency to not always listen to the body and to overdo it, seeing these biometrics and getting that little warning can be quite helpful. But aside from quite accurately tracking sleep and getting an overall daily readiness score, the Oura Ring is of course also a fitness tracker, keeping track of daily activity. In the app, you can choose between having your daily step count or your daily active calories burned. Since I'm already wearing a Garmin, which does keep track of my daily step count, I did set my app to display my daily active calories burned. Though, to be honest, I really don't care much about active calories burned or calories in general. Now, I do feel the ring and app are pretty good at picking up any sort of movement the wearer is engaging in, and after wearing the ring for a while, it also gets pretty good at figuring out what kind of movement the user is engaging in and then keeps track of it. On top of the ring keeping track of movement pretty much automatically, you do have a choice of adding activity manually. And the app gives you quite a variety of different activities which can be added manually. One thing the Oura Ring does not have is built-in GPS. Now, while the activity tracker is a feature I personally don't do much with, aside from the ring automatically tracking my movement or activity, I would think that if you're just starting out to work out or you just need to be motivated somehow, then having your daily activity displayed and being able to keep track of it could probably be quite helpful. Now, aside from being able to keep track of your daily activity, the Oura Ring also has a daytime stress feature, which I have a love-hate relationship with. It continuously measures heart rate variability, body temperature, and motion to supposedly provide a real-time assessment of physiological stress levels throughout the day. Oura states that high stress is indicated by changes in these metrics, such as a faster heart rate and lower HRV. Like I said, I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with this particular feature because looking at it when it's telling me I'm stressed isn't really helping me. It does offer, when your body is experiencing high stress, the app does offer breathing exercises or relaxation exercises, which I honestly personally have never tried. My problem with this particular feature is I doubt its accuracy. There have been times where I feel I am completely relaxed, watching a funny movie or sitting on the couch, reading or relaxing, and I will take a look at my app and it's telling me, right now I'm experiencing high stress. The opposite has been true as well. I have felt very stressed out, and I will take a look at my app and it's telling me that I'm not only in a relaxed but a restored state. Now, aside from these features I just mentioned, the app just recently added a tab which is apparently run by AI, and it allows you to take a picture of your meal to then have it analyzed. I have honestly not played around with this particular tab. I will in the future, and I will keep you posted. If you have, please let us know down below. Another tab Oura just added is a health advisor, which again I believe is run by AI. Again, personally, I have not played around with this particular tab. If you have, please let us know down below. Now, Oura does offer some other features which I personally either haven't played around with or don't use. Again, the main reason why I personally wanted an Oura Ring was for its comprehensive sleep tracking feature and being able to look at all the different sleep data: REM sleep, deep sleep, light sleep, nightly awakenings. Again, I think for me personally, sleep latency is not that accurate, but being able to look at the rest of my sleep data has really been quite helpful in helping me fine-tune and figure out what lifestyle choices, what supplements, and so on affect my sleep positively or negatively. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I'm currently still wearing a Garmin. However, I don't wear this at night. For a while, when I first got my Oura Ring, I wore both at night. And comparing the sleep data, I realized that the Garmin sleep data was quite inaccurate. So now at night, I only wear my Oura Ring, and I only wear this during the day, really mostly to tell time. I would definitely repurchase my Oura Ring, though at this point I'm not sure if I would be willing to spend the extra money for a Generation 4. I don't know if the upgrades I mentioned at the beginning of this video warrant the extra price. If you used to have a Generation 3 and upgraded to a Generation 4, please let us know in the comments how you feel about your choice. But I definitely, without thinking, would repurchase my Oura Ring. I have found it to be quite beneficial, especially when it comes to analyzing and improving my sleep. I find it easy to use, it's comfortable to wear. My only complaint is again that Oura doesn't offer half sizes. I really wish I could wear it on my right hand, on my middle finger. Oura, if you're watching, which I doubt, make half sizes so it is easier to actually get a good fit. So I hope this video was helpful. I would love to know, do you wear a fitness tracker? If so, which one? And what is your experience with it? Please let us know down below. Any questions or comments? Of course, please leave them down below. Always love to hear from you. I really hope this video was helpful. Thank you so much for being here. Until next time, bye.